Good afternoon, and welcome to the 91st commencement of the University of Arkansas School of Law. Please be seated. I'm Stacy Leeds, Dean of the Law School. As we begin, I would ask that you each take a moment to please silence your cell phones. I'm honored to introduce the members of the platform party who are joining me this afternoon on stage. As I make the introductions, each member of the platform party will stand and be recognized individually. Please hold your applause until all have been presented. First, I would like to welcome our commencement speaker, Judge Christine Baker. Our student speaker, Bo Renner. We are also joined by the University of Arkansas Provost and Executive Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, Jim Coleman, who joined the university this past January. I would now like to welcome and extend my sincere gratitude to my friends and colleagues on the faculty and professional staff of the School of Law. Associate Dean Jim Miller. Associate Dean for Faculty, Brian Galini. Associate Dean for Academic Affairs, Will Foster. And Associate Dean for Administration, Tamla Lewis. I'd like to welcome Dean Emeritus Cynthia Nance, who also serves as the Nathan G. Gordon Professor of Law and the Director of our pro bono programs. The Vincent Foster University Professor of Legal Ethics and Professional Responsibility, Howard Brill. The Ben J. Altheimer Professor of Legal Advocacy, Carl Serco. The Sidney Parker Davis Jr. Professor of Business and Commercial Law, Mary Beth Matthews. The Arkansas Bar Foundation Professor of Law, Laurent Sakharov. Professor Steve Clowney. Professor Uche Awolakwa Ofadal. Professor Lonnie Beard. Professor Janet Flackus. Professor Sharon Foster. The acting director of our LLM program in Agricultural and Food Law and Associate Professor Christopher Kelly. Associate Professor Danielle Weatherby. Associate Professor Jonathan Marshfield. Assistant Professor Sarah Gossman. Assistant Professor Jordan Woods. The Senior Director of Career Services, Susan Schell. Our Director of Externships, Angie Doss. John Norwood, who teaches in the School of Law, is also a professor in the Sam M. Welton College of Business, where he holds the Nolan E. Williams Lecturer in Accounting. Adjunct Professor Marshfield Prettyman, and finally, visiting Assistant Professor Nate Rosenberg. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in thanking them for their contributions to our community. First, a few brief marks for our class of 2017. First and foremost, I extend my heartfelt congratulations to each of you. You have truly earned this celebration. And I hope that this weekend you do take some time to unplug, soak all of this in, and spend a day and the weekend to enjoy the company of your loved ones. And given our relationship, it wouldn't be right if I didn't remind you here today that you need to immediately start studying for the bar exam. On Monday morning, at the very latest. But all kidding aside, it certainly is always a bittersweet moment for me and my faculty colleagues because we've made such meaningful connections with so many of you. When you came to law school in the fall of 2014, you came to us at the median age of 26, representing 21 different states and 52 institutions of higher education. As you leave, we're all a little older, and now you carry the torch with you of those prior affiliations, but also two more groups everywhere you go, the University of Arkansas School of Law and also the legal profession as a whole. You leave us today with skills that will serve you well, whatever you ultimately decide to do. The ability to think critically, the ability to be effective communicators, and the power to be the voice for others. I trust that by now you all fully understand that you're entering a position of privilege in our society, and that with such privilege comes profound sense of responsibility. You have a responsibility to society and to the legal profession, and of course you have responsibility to those that will seek your counsel, and they will place their most fragile trust in you. You also have a responsibility to yourself. Being an attorney can be one of the most stressful and demanding roles one can take on, because oftentimes you carry the weight of a lot of people on your shoulders. You got a little taste of that stress here in law school, thanks to the intentional planning of your professors. Do take care of yourselves and continue doing what I have seen so much from this class over the last 3 years. Continue to be good to one another. Yes, we will brag to the outside world about you, about how this very small class of graduates produced at least 5 federal clerks, and we will continue to celebrate your individual success stories. All of your stories demonstrate and help us demonstrate that the law school repeatedly punches far above our weight. But what's impressed me the most about this particular class is your civility and respect for one another. Keep that. Demonstrate it. Demonstrate it for a world that desperately needs to see that kind of positive professional examples, the things that I see in each of you. Always remember that you are part of something much bigger than yourselves. When you walk across the stage in just a moment, you'll become one of more than 6,200 living alumni of this law school. We have law school alumni in 50 states and more than 20 countries around the globe. And I promise that they are already feeling a kinship with you as we today bring you part into that fold of a remarkable shared legacy. Last night, we had the opportunity to recognize several members of the class of 2017 with awards for their academic excellence and for their service to our community. We reserved until today the announcement of our top 3 highest academic honors for this ceremony. I invite the recipients to come forward to the platform as I call your name to accept the award. First, we will begin with the Academic Achievement Award, which recognizes the 3rd highest ranked student in the class of 2017. Our award winner is Ron Johnson. As Ron is making his way to the stage, I will go ahead and announce the highest Academic Achievement Award winner, which is the 2nd highest ranked student in the class of 2017. And if you'll make your way to the stage now, J.R. Baxter. And finally, I would like to announce now the Outstanding Academic Achievement Award, which goes to the student who ranks number 1 in the class. Please join me in welcoming to the stage the top student for 2017, Elise Holman. Each year, members of the graduating class elect one of their own to deliver a student commencement address. This year's speaker is James Robert Renner, or Bo as we know him. One hallmark of the University of Arkansas School of Law is our strong state, national, and international leaders, all of those leaders that we've produced over the last 9 decades. Among those that have graduated from our law school are governors, including our current Governor Asa Hutchinson, ambassadors, members of the United States House of Representatives, senators, CEOs, university presidents, entrepreneurs, judges and justices, general counsel, and even a U.S. cabinet member. No doubt Bo will be among those that we mention in future classes. Before he came to the law school, Bo was already proving his leadership by serving as the student body president in the undergraduate campus. During law school, he's been an active member in the Business Law Society and also in trial competitions. And he spent his summers clerking for the Arkansas Governor's Office in Little Rock and at Kutak Rock Law Firm here in Fayetteville. Perhaps his wisest decision, though, to date, he made last summer when he convinced Allie to marry him. By choosing him for this honor, his fellow graduates obviously see his potential, and we will watch to see where life takes him next. Please welcome Bo Renner.
Well, the first time that we sat in the same room together was 1,006 days ago, first year orientation. I had come in late. I sat in the very back corner seat of the back row in the courtroom, and I vividly remember thinking, great, a few minutes into this thing and I'm already falling behind. I can't be on time. But thankfully, it was also that day that I learned that in this law school, you are technically not late unless you come here after James Omatosho. And thankfully, James had come after me that day, and he's had my back, and he has been my friend ever since. So James, wherever you are, I wanted to tell you thank you. In all seriousness, from the back of that room to the front of this one, I have had the sincere privilege of knowing you as classmates, in various competitions, as teammates, as co-counsel, and as friends. And there is no group of people that I would rather add doctors of law to that list than with you today. It was this past winter break that I was reading a book, non-law related, from which I kept a quote. And little did I know then that that quote would largely be what this speech is about today. But I think it's relevant as to why we're in this room. It reads that the common denominator for mankind is significance. We may define what significance is differently, but we all want it. And I agree with that. I think it's pretty true. But I also think it begs a question as to what significance is for us as attorneys, for us as citizens, and as people. And when I was trying to come up with a definition that I thought was to suffice for us all, I couldn't help but be reminded of a story that I've known for a long, long time. It's actually a story that I've long attributed to giving me one of, if not the single, greatest pieces of advice I've ever been given. And it didn't come to me from an author or a president, a professor, or even a friend, but the greatest piece of advice ever given to me came to me from a man who couldn't even speak. I knew my great-grandfather for the first 8 years of my life. He was a minister, and he was a Methodist minister at a church right off of Dixon Street, which there are churches on Dixon Street if you guys ever made it past the bars. But shortly after baptizing me as a child, he suffered a stroke that left the entire left side of his body paralyzed and forced him into a nursing home, where he spent out the remainder of his life. And while I don't remember much about his place there, I'll never forget that he had this nurse. It was a middle-aged woman named Marjorie. She was always jovial, always smiling and upbeat. She'd try to talk to me, though I'd usually just kind of run past her to my great-grandfather, who would do the same three things. He'd motion at me to come to his bedside. He would smile at me as much as his face would allow. And then he would begin to kind of murmur at me as if we were having some sort of conversation. And while I don't remember much more than just those things, I'll never forget about a night in particular that my great-grandmother, his wife, received a phone call. It was Marjorie, his nurse, and she was crying hysterically. This came as a surprise to my family because we did not know Marjorie well. But what she told my great-grandmother that evening on the phone is something I never have and I'll never forget. It turns out Marjorie had had a hard life. In fact, she was depressed, though her smile would never let you know it. Her joy never let it be known that she didn't have much in the way of family or friends. And the warmth and affection that my family had become so accustomed to when visiting the nursing home was really nothing more than a cover of deep concerns about money and finances and her family and various other burdens. In fact, Marjorie had become so depressed that she had planned to take her own life that evening. In tears, Marjorie told my great-grandmother on the phone that as she was finishing up at the nursing home that night, she grabbed her things and headed towards the door. She turned to my great-grandfather, whom she believed to be asleep, and told him good night. But right when she got to the door, he made a sudden and frantic commotion that he had not made before. Worried, she ran back to his bed to see what was wrong, only to find his eyes locked on hers. He then took his right hand, the only one he could move, and grabbed hers before bowing his head and beginning to pray. He wouldn't let go. On the phone that night, Marjorie told my great-grandmother that he knew. She doesn't know how and she doesn't know why, but he knew. Never once had Marjorie made known anything about her life, about her burdens, her depression, or her plans for that night. But somehow, in some way, he knew. My great-grandfather would not and did not let Marjorie leave that night until she promised him that she was okay and that she would see him the next morning. It turns out Marjorie may have been shown more love, more care and compassion in that single instance than she had been shown in her entire life. It just so happens to have saved it also. And while she may not have had much in the way of family, she did quickly become a part of ours. Now, I don't know if my parents or my grandparents who are here know that I know or remember this story, but I do, and I never have and never will forget it. It taught an 8-year-old that you never really know what is going on in the lives of other humans. It now teaches a 25-year-old a whole lot about significance and what that really is. I have no doubt that you guys will be fantastic attorneys, legal minds, scholars. You will. But significance is not measured by the number of legal assistants you may need one day or how much you may be able to bill hourly. And that's because significance isn't about what you do with your life at all. Significance is who you are in the lives of others. And that's my hope for this class, that you measure your significance by your impact in the lives of other human beings. I want that for this class because I know this class, and I see its potential and the joy of people like Emily O'Neill or Kyle Lakin, the kindness of Hannah Rucker, Joe Hout, the friendship of Caroline Kelly or Daisy Carlson, the work ethic of Corey Anderson or Elise Holman, and the character, of course, the character of Haley Hanna and Chris Smith. I could go on and on and on. But I won't, because eventually I would have to say something good about Brett Roberts, and I refuse to do that. Jokes aside, I am aware that there are parts of our country, and particularly parts of our state, where additional legal assistance is needed, no doubt. But I would suggest to you that in the world that we live in today, there is a far greater need for something far more basic. Kindness, simple kindness, human decency, a little additional effort to show somebody that their life matters, because we just never know the impact that may have. At the end of the day, when you come get your degree, when the lights of this stage that may or may not be making me sweat go out, and you go home, and you begin your professional life, never forget that people will not care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that class of 2017 is significant. Thank you guys, and as always, go Hogs, and God bless.
Thank you, Bo. As I mentioned earlier, the U of A School of Law is known for producing exceptional leaders, and our 2017 commencement speaker is certainly one of them. Judge Christine Baker attended the University of Arkansas School of Law in the mid-1990s after completing a bachelor's degree at St. Louis University. While she was here, she was a member of Board of Advocates, articles editor for the Arkansas Law Review, and also a member of the University of Arkansas's First Amendment National Moot Court team. Her fellow classmates have described her as wicked smart and also highly efficient. The efficient part perhaps best referenced by the fact that she got married between the semesters in December in 1994 to a fellow law student, now alum, John Baker, who's also here with us today. John is an attorney at Mitchell Williams Law Firm in Little Rock, and in addition to their two very impressive legal careers, they're raising together three fabulous kids. After her 1996 graduation, finishing in the top 3 of her class, Judge Baker clerked for U.S. District Judge Susan Weber Wright, also one of our graduates. Judge Baker spent more than a decade in private practice, first at Williams & Anderson and then at the Quattlebaum firm. During that time, she was recognized as one of the best lawyers in America for her commercial litigation work, and she was also recognized as Mid-South Super Lawyers magazine's Rising Stars. She was sworn in as U.S. District Judge for the Eastern District of Arkansas, a lifetime appointment, on May 21st, 2012, which will be exactly 5 years tomorrow. And she has a fascinating docket. Please help me welcome our alum, the Honorable Christine Baker.
Dean Leeds, distinguished faculty and staff of the University of Arkansas School of Law, and members of the class of 2017, families, friends, and guests. First, congratulations to our graduates on their hard work and achievement. You have completed law school. To arrive at this point today, you made sacrifices to pursue a legal education. You are leaving here a changed person, still the same person at your core, but a changed person. This marks the end of your law school career, but not the end of your education. In many ways, this commencement ceremony is just the beginning. I am humbled to share the stage with many stellar members of the faculty and staff, and to share this day with you, outstanding students who have worked so hard to get to this point. As mentioned, I'm a 1996 graduate of the University of Arkansas School of Law. I started off as a lawyer, walking the same path that you walk today. I loved practicing law in private practice. I did not love every day, but overall, I loved it. And there are many days, even now, that I still miss it. When I was a trial lawyer, I participated in many jury trials. I was privileged to practice with and to learn from great lawyers with whom I have become great friends. I hope that you are as lucky as I have been to work with great lawyers. The position I hold now is an honor. As a judge, I'm a public servant. That means I serve the people by doing my job. I acknowledge that I decide some weighty issues. However, more often, I decide issues that do not affect anyone other than those directly involved in the case. Decisions that will never be in the newspaper or on the 6 o'clock news. You are starting off as a lawyer. I have thoroughly enjoyed my journey on the path through this profession, and I have a unique perspective, having spent time both in private practice and as a judge. Your journey on the path starts today, when you are handed your degree. Because this is a commencement address, I will humbly share with you some advice. First, I advise you to have courage on the path. As a judge, I decide only cases that lawyers decide to file. I decide only arguments that lawyers are creative enough and bold enough to make. Those weighty issues only reach United States district judges because lawyers like you decide to file the case, pursue the cause, or defend against it. You will receive today a powerful degree. You have knowledge and an education that many in our society do not have. Use your degree wisely. Seek to represent those less fortunate or those without a voice. Have the courage to stand up for what is right, even if you're standing alone. Have courage to seek and to guard justice. Next, a little unconventional advice for lawyers, but I advise you to be creative. In the practice of law, whatever type of law you practice, problems do not come in subjects. They are not set out neatly as criminal or civil procedure problems or constitutional, contract, or tort problems. Instead, you will be called upon to be creative when examining a problem. Remind yourself to see all of the subjects that are presented by the facts and to sort through all of them, to see how those subjects interact, and to develop a path to resolution that incorporates or at least acknowledges all aspects. Study the law and its subtle nuances. Those nuances represent the evolution of our jurisprudence. The layers of the law mean that seldom will you be able to obtain a legal answer for your client by running a quick search on your smartphone. The legal issues will challenge you in your pursuit to find the answer and solutions. But you can find the answer. You have spent 3 years learning the necessary skills. You have those skills. Trust that you have the knowledge. Do the research. Read the articles. Seek counsel from other lawyers in the field, and seek the rule of law. Examine the controlling precedent. If there's no controlling precedent, look for persuasive authority or analogous issues. Think critically through the policy reasons behind each position, and then apply the law to the facts. That approach, which should be very familiar to everyone today, should be your anchor as you move forward. It should be the overlay that you use to analyze all legal issues, regardless of the type of issue. Trust that you have these skills and have confidence enough in yourself to be creative and to solve problems. Be dedicated on your journey. Be dedicated to the profession. Be dedicated to lifelong learning. The rule of law evolves to a certain extent. Open legal questions are solved. New laws are enacted. Exceptions are created. Controlling authorities are curbed or extended, and technology evolves. To be dedicated to lifelong learning, you will have to work to stay on top of those advances and changes. Be dedicated as well to the profession. Look at the oath that you will take at the outset. To become a licensed Arkansas lawyer, you will be required to take an oath to support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, to perform faithfully the duties of attorney at law, to maintain respect and courtesy due to courts of justice and judicial officers, and to abide by the standards of ethics, as well as the spirit of those standards, and to act honorably and fairly. In taking the oath, you will also pledge fairness, integrity, and civility, not only in court, but also in all written and oral communications. You will be required to affirm that you will not reject, from any consideration personal to yourself, the cause of the impoverished, the defenseless, or the oppressed. Taking that oath marks an official point on your journey. Remind yourself periodically throughout your career of the oath that you swore at the start. Ask if you are living up to that oath, and be bold enough to make changes if you are not. Remember to define your own success. Follow your own path, not someone else's. Decide what that path is and seek it out. What kind of life do you want to lead? In other words, define your own professional success. Is it attaining partner in a firm, becoming a general counsel for a company, becoming a judge, a law professor, defending the poor or the accused, prosecuting wrongs, practicing law in your hometown or your adopted hometown, or running for elected office? The degree you earn today prepares you for so many professional positions. Each one is a success, but take the time to examine what success means to you professionally. Also take the time to define success for you personally. Does personal success mean raising a family, having a circle of close and reliable friends, accomplishing each goal on your bucket list, like seeing every country, hiking every state park, or running a marathon at 30, 40, or in my case, 50? Decide what personally fulfills you, and remember to balance wisely your professional and personal life. Keep your definitions of success in mind. Evaluate those definitions by asking, is what you're doing advancing you on the path to that success? You may need to take risks. You may need to leave a job that you do not love to seek other opportunities and to move forward on the path. You may need to step forward and take on a project or an assignment that seems daunting. Or some days, you may even need to step back and spend less time at the office to achieve success. From time to time, it is okay to adjust your definition of success. You may face a crossroads, or you may be completely thrown from the path, which brings me to my next point. Be resolute in your pursuit of success. One of my former law partners told me regularly, life is a marathon, not a sprint. Your goals realistically may take 5 years, 10 years, or even longer to achieve. Many today seek instant success, but that is not reality. Just like it took you 3 years to obtain this degree, it may take time to achieve the success that you seek. If you think law school has been tough, this will be tougher. Be willing to work hard because it will take hard work. The practice of law will not always be easy. But if you think through every problem and remain resolute, no matter how difficult it gets, you will achieve success, whatever your version of success may be. Make sure that the long hours and the hard work are worth it by keeping your definition of success in mind. Be resilient. You will make missteps in your professional and personal life. There will be things that you did not expect, for which you did not plan, and for which you did not ask. Persevere. Be resilient and bounce back. Remind yourself of what success means and work to return to it. You may set goals that you never achieve, but what you perceive as the worst thing today may be the best thing tomorrow. Press on and move forward. Before I took the federal bench, I sought out clients who decided not to hire me. I sought positions for which I was not selected, and I argued cases that I did not win, but I did not quit. Instead, I rededicated myself to the practice of law and resolved to be the best litigator that I could be, to learn more and to do more. So be resilient. On a personal level, those are my steps for you. But as lawyers, we do not walk the path of this profession alone. You will be handed your degree today, and you will join the legal profession. Collectively, we as lawyers walk this path together. A few reminders for our walk. We can disagree without being disagreeable. By now, you know how to construct an argument. Debate the issue, do not demean the person. Be professional and courteous. Your adversaries one day may be your co-counsel or even your judge the next. Work to find common ground. Even in litigation, argue only over those points that matter to the outcome and about which you cannot agree. Remember that reasonable minds can differ, or the dispute would be easily resolved and likely resolved before it reaches the courtroom or the boardroom. We demean our system of justice and oversimplify complex issues that deserve our thoughtful attention and our careful analysis when we reduce the debate to personal attacks or general labels like liberal or conservative. Our system of justice provides stability to our great democracy, and it has the power to open and close many doors. Choose your words carefully. Your words, like your degree, are powerful. Your education is powerful. Use it wisely. You will be evaluated going forward on your judgment, your work product, your energy, your temperament, your intellect, and your integrity. In your career, you will need to seek role models and to be your role model. Make sure that your actions match your words. And take action in whatever form suits you and conforms to your success. Remember that more unites us than divides us. We all want better communities, and we want what is better for our families. We all deserve opportunities, and we all should have the chance to learn and to provide. I congratulate you on your achievement, and I look forward to working with you in this profession to advance justice for all in our communities and through the rule of law. Congratulations.
At this time, we will award the Master of Laws in Agricultural and Food Law. For more than 3 decades, the University of Arkansas School of Law has offered an advanced law degree in Ag and Food Law for the first in the United States. The degree is an online degree and a traditional classroom experience, depending on your preference. And when the program went online a few years ago, we became the first law degree to be available by distance in our state. Our LLM graduates are now numbering over 300 alumni. They work in 40 different states and 18 different countries, and they serve as leaders in private practice, government, agribusiness, public policy, and in the academy. It's my pleasure to welcome the acting director of the LLM program, Associate Professor Christopher Kelly, to present and graduate the candidates of the Masters of Law degree. Assisting with the hooding of the candidates are Professors Uche Ewolakwa Ofadile and Nate Rosenberg. They will hood the students on the right side of the stage. As they cross the stage, they will be greeted by Provost Jim Coleman, and I will present the diplomas with the assistance of Associate Dean Tamla Lewis. Masters of Law candidates, please make your way to the stage while Professor Kelly makes his remarks.
Thank you, Dean Leeds. I am honored to introduce 4 of this year's students who have completed their courses in our graduate program in agriculture and food law. Catherine Baker. Catherine is a 2016 graduate of the law school. She is completing her graduate program requirements by writing about using medical cannabis as a replacement for subtherapeutic levels of antibiotics to produce weight gains in commercial food animals. She is focusing on the appropriate legislative and administrative mechanisms for approving the use of cannabis-derived veterinary drugs in Arkansas. Catherine is the Executive Vice President of Human Resources at Grainster, an Arkansas startup. Grainster is seeking to change the way commodities are traded worldwide by using an online trading platform to connect sellers and buyers. This way, farmers and buyers can negotiate directly in an open market environment, choosing if they wish to disregard Chicago Board of Trade prices. Online, worldwide, open market trading and substituting medical cannabis for subtherapeutic antibiotic use in animal agriculture are but 2 ways agriculture is changing. I am delighted that Catherine is at the forefront of these changes. Congratulations, Catherine. Great job. Jessica Fritz. Jessica also is a 2016 graduate of the law school. Her research is analyzing the legal issues raised by the new Prevention of Farm Animal Cruelty Act, California's new Prevention of Farm Animal Cruelty Act, and California's Shell Egg Safety Rule. Agricultural and food law is always changing and always challenging, and I am pleased that Jessica is contributing her analysis to these recent changes in how our food is produced and marketed. Jessica has a special perspective on agriculture. She was raised on her family's farm here in Arkansas. I know from reading an essay she wrote for one of her courses how much growing up on a farm has meant to her and will always mean to her. Jessica, congratulations. Jacob Kirksick, a 2015 graduate of the law school. Jacob is researching the legal and ethical implications of genetically changing farm animals. Specifically, he is considering the mixing of animal embryos with human cells so that human organs grow in animals such as pigs. Some of you might have read the article in January's National Geographic magazine about how scientists are using the genome editing tool called CRISPR and other techniques to produce chimeras, organisms that contain cells from two different species. One of the goals of this work is to produce human organs in pigs, for example, thus possibly lessening the shortage of donor organs for humans. Jacob will be practicing law in Northwest Arkansas. His longer-term plans include creating a vertical hydroponic farm. Congratulations, Jacob. You're going to make that farm, right? Kelly Knuckles. Kelly graduated with high honors from the Drake University School of Law in Des Moines, Iowa in 2016 after graduating summa cum laude from Fort Hays State University in Hays, Kansas. She maintained her high academic achievement here. As commendable, Kelly explained Iowa to us. In a class a few weeks ago, her account of why the Iowa legislature recently ended funding for Iowa's Leopold Center for Sustainable Agriculture fascinated all of us. Kelly is analyzing California's new overtime pay and working hours law for farm workers. This law is the nation's first to provide farm workers with overtime pay equivalent to most other occupations. Our class discussions about this law led us into the world of on-farm robotics, another technological development that will prompt changes in our food systems. In turn, these changes will present more legal, ethical, and policy challenges for our graduate program students to study, and when they graduate, to steer. We are looking forward to Kelly and all of our graduates becoming leaders in agricultural and food law. Kelly, congratulations. Great job.
Now we move to the presentation and hooding of Juris Doctor candidates. Associate Dean Brian Galini was selected by the students to announce the name of each candidate. Associate Dean Will Foster and Professor Steve Clowney, who were elected by the graduating class for this honor, will perform the hooding. As with the LLM students, each student will first be hooded and then greeted by Provost Coleman as they cross the stage, and then I will present the diplomas with the assistance of Dean Lewis. Juris Doctor candidates, please stand and make your way to the stage.
Cassie Elizabeth Adams. Caitlin Admire, criminal law certificate. Kyle Aiken, magna cum laude. John Albertson. Hannah also. Lauren Christine Alvidrez. Garen Paul Amos. Corey Evan Anderson, cum laude, criminal law certificate. Estefania Artiega. Samantha Caroline Baker. Joseph Paul Barker, magna cum laude, business law certificate. Ty Barnes. James Baxter, summa cum laude. Elijah Lane Bentley. Peyton Cruz Bentley, cum laude. James Harrison Berry, cum laude. Taylor Bish, cum laude. Kelsey Bogan. Blake Zweifel Brizolera, cum laude. Kelly Christine Brown, cum laude. Raymond Brownlee. Verity Louise Grace Cameron. Mackenzie Campbell. Elizabeth Carson, cum laude, criminal law certificate. Jonathan Ciganero, cum laude. Jacob Coleman, cum laude. James Colston. Paul Thomas Cotton, cum laude. Sean Crane. Penelope Ann Teo Davis. Gabriel Graham DeVoe. Jarrett Dixon. Jonathan Michael Dixon. McKinley Leo Duke, cum laude. Eric Holland Egburn, cum laude. Mariah Reed Elkins. Abdella Isalki. Amber Michelle Ferris. Nathan Finch. Lisa Ford. Barry Keith Fowler. Adrian Frank. Benjamin Fruhoff IV. Houston Race Garner, cum laude. Julius John Gerard IV. Brady Gann, cum laude. Caitlin Jane Gibbs. Noe Gomez. Misty Aaron Grady. Alex Gustafson. Haley Marie Hannah, magna cum laude. Douglas Brian Harlan. David Trent Harrison. James Ryan Head. Matthew Dwayne Helton. Alexandria Elizabeth Hightower. Mary Elise Holman, summa cum laude. Joseph Hout, summa cum laude. Tracy R. Husing, cum laude. David Schaefer Humphrey. Christopher Hussein. Timothy Mark in testimony. Ronald A. Johnson, summa cum laude. Daisy Christina Carlson Fernandez, cum laude. Brian Keister, cum laude. Kirby Michelle Keller. Caroline Wells Kelly, cum laude. Kyle Kennedy, magna cum laude. Kelsey Lee Kent. Bailey Knapp, summa cum laude. Hayden Lovelace. Robert Kevin McClendon. Valerie Adams McClendon. Jacob McElroy, cum laude. Brian McQuiston. Thomas Reed Murray. Alex Nguyen, magna cum laude. Kesney Nichols. James Bola Omatosho. Emily O'Neill, cum laude. Mark Pearson. DeQuisha Prude. Carla Alejandra Quintana. Savannah Justine Reading, summa cum laude. Anna Renier, summa cum laude. Bo Renner, cum laude. Cole Riddell, magna cum laude. Chloe Roan, cum laude, criminal law certificate. Brett Roberts, cum laude. Hannah Grace Rucker. Alex Shirley, cum laude. Kyle Logan Singleton. Christopher Glenn Smith. Kelly Smith. Jordan Snodderly. Deanna Snyder. Peyton Taylor Qualls. Adam Mitchell Thompson, criminal law certificate. Madison Throneberry, summa cum laude. Princess Tiaseo. Austin Duran Todd, criminal law certificate. Larry Treat, cum laude, business law certificate. Samantha Vital, cum laude. Kristen Webster, cum laude. Jessica Lauren Welke. Robert Allen White. John Edward Whitworth. Alex Wynn. C. Yang, cum laude, Business Law Certificate.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2017. Congratulations. On behalf of the Arkansas Alumni Association, congratulations on joining the ranks of more than 140,000 living Arkansas alums around the world. Your name will be engraved soon on Senior Walk, making you part of a tradition unique to the University of Arkansas. And if this is your second or third degree on this campus, after the commas, we'll get another degree put down for you. We also remind you that if you're still interested, there's one more degree, the LLM degree. With that, I would like to ask, excluding the newly minted class that we just graduated, would all of the University of Arkansas School of Law alumni in attendance today please stand and be recognized on stage as well. Graduates of the class of 2017, we have celebrated you. Now it's time to celebrate those that helped make today possible. There's no such thing as a self-made man or woman. Your success is possible because of the hard work and also because of the sacrifices, support, love, and perhaps money of the majority of the people in this room. Graduates, would you join me by standing, turning around, face the crowd, and help us thank them for making this possible today. Please be seated. As we conclude, I would like to recognize and thank the Claudia Burson Trio with special guest Chase Cavalier for the lovely music this afternoon. My sincere thanks also goes to our sign language interpreters, Kevin Teets and Jason Shiflett, and to Sign Language Interpreting Network. I would also like to thank all of the faculty, staff, and student volunteers who helped make today's ceremony such a success. And again, thank you to Bo Renner and to Judge Baker for their remarks. After we exit the stage, everyone is invited to attend a reception honoring the class of 2017, which will be held on the terrace on the east side of the building immediately following the reception. I understand that since we've come inside, there's been some rain, so there will be food both set up in the foyer as well as on the covered decks outside. I would just ask you to please avoid congestion at the doors and make sure that all of the platform party and the students can exit before the rest of the audience does so. At that time, there will be plenty of room to hug and visit and take photographs and enjoy each other's company. To the law students who just graduated, our alums, as you exit, I would ask you to please take a look at the name on your tube and make sure that it's in fact yours. There were a couple out of order, so please make sure you don't walk away with someone else's diploma. With that, I would ask that everyone please remain seated while first the platform party and then the graduates exit the ceremony. I appreciate your attendance today. Congratulations to our graduates. And way to go, Law Hogs.